another brew day. So today we are going to be doing a mango lassi IPA. So never done one of these before. I've done a double IPA 4 or 5 months ago. Came out absolutely amazing. It's about 10%, quite strong. You know, 2 of those and you were done for the night. This is coming out at about 7.5%. So should be nice. I believe I've tried these kind of IPAs, mango kind of cloudy IPAs before, maybe out at events and stuff like that. Never tried making one, so this is going to be really interesting. The one thing that I find that seems to be really different from this recipe, or from the mango lassi recipes to traditional IPAs, is the addition of lactose or milk sugar, which of course gives it that subtle sweetness that you get with like milk stouts and stuff like that. So should be really interesting. So the ingredient list I've got here: 4.5 kilograms of extra pale malt, it says here. So I've gone for a golden promise. So I want to get that yellow colour. 1 kilogram of flaked oats, obviously to give it some really good cloudiness. 500 grams of carapils, 250 grams of wheat malt, 200 grams of torrefied wheat. I've got 30 grams of Northern Brewer going in at first wort. That's the Northern Brewer that I grew myself over the summer. Still got quite a bit of that which I want to use. So that's a change I made to the original recipe that I got off of Beersmith. This is my kind of adjustment to a recipe that was already on Beersmith. So I'm adding Northern Brewer to give the bitterness during the boil, and then I've got other hops that I want to add later on during dry hopping and at the end of the boil to give it the hop aroma. So we got 30 grams of Northern Brewer going in at first wort, another 30 grams going in when there's 30 minutes left in the boil. You've got 500 grams of milk sugar going in when there's 15 minutes left in the boil. And then at flame out we've got some gorgeous, this is going to be really nice, I've got mango pulp, which I bought from my local Sri Lankan shop, which is, I'll be flying here, local Sri Lankan shop around the corner, get away from me. So the one thing I want to really go for with this is I want to get that that nice yellowy orange kind of mango colour that you get with the mango IPAs, which is the main reason why I've chosen to go for Golden Promise as my main pale malt that I'm going to use in this to get a really nice light colour out of it. I'm going to be using an American ale yeast. So I've got a batch of yeast that I ordered from Cross My Loof. So I'm going to go with their American ale yeast from Cross My Loof. The recipe says Y yeast, but it doesn't matter which one we use. So I'll make that up a little bit before I go to pitch it. So as you can probably hear in the background, my HLT is on. The strike water is starting to get ready, coming up to 45 degrees now, so I've got a little bit of time left before it's ready to start doughing in. So I'm going to go off now, weigh up all my grain, get everything ready, so we can start getting the mash ready soon. Okay, so doughing in time. So here we are with the full grain bill, which is a shitload of grain. It's about 6 kilos of grain in there. Well, it's not that much actually, but you know, for an IPA it's quite a lot. We've got my strike water, which is just about up to temperature. It'll turn itself back on in a minute. That's back on. Okay, so it'll start heating up again. We have the pipes all connected to my brand new shiny pump. So this is a Keg Kingdom pump, which is new, recently gone on back on sale there. I think it's called a Keg Kingdom 3000 or something like that, I can't remember. 70 quid, so this is like the maiden voyage for it. I've given it a test run. Let's just turn this off, I don't need this on now. Yeah, I've given it a test run, seems to work okay. So let's start doing our underletting. So I'm going to turn our flow from my HLT on. I'm going to turn the flow into the mash tun on. Okay, so we've got water coming out of the HLT into the mash tun. I'm going to plug in the pump, and we should start to see the pumps kicking in, and we should start to see something happening in the... So it looks like we've got water going in, if you can see that, but there's a flow going in. I don't know if you can see it, I can see it. So let's wait and see what happens here. water level's going down on this, so it's definitely going into the mash tun. It's definitely going down, and we're starting to see the grain bed starting to move a little bit. So I should start to see, here we go, the water starting to disturb the grain bed. So we've got water coming up from underneath. Here we go, as you can see here, we've got some water starting to soak up the grain bed. Awesome stuff. So new pump's working nicely by the looks of it. As you can see over there, water starting to fill up the grain bed. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to let this finish underletting, and then I'm just going to give it a stir. Cool, so after a stir, I've given the mash a good old stir. You know, underletting, there was one massive dough ball in the middle. I think with a grain mill this big, even underletting doesn't mitigate against getting dough balls, but it was pretty easy to break up. So we're now in a position where got a nice smash. I'm just taking the temperature at the moment. Temperature's rising up. I've got 60. Let's try and see what the temperature in the mash is. Okay, so I'm going to do something that I don't normally do. So I'm going to take a pH reading. So I've got a very simple pH measuring thingamajig. Cool, so I'm going to take a reading. So we got 6, 5.9, cool, just slightly too high. So I'm going to add a tiny little bit of lactic acid. So I've got a capful here. I'm going to just add a little bit. I'm going to pour that into the mash. And I'm just going to give that a good stir. So just move that out of the way. Stir that in. This should lower the pH. I'm aiming to get around about kind of 5.2, 5.4 on that area. So let's do the measurement. And we're down to a little bit too low, so just above 5. 9. Just rinse that off. Try again. So off. Maybe added a tiny little bit too much. So 7. There we go. Cool. Let's give it a chance to settle in. So 5.24, which is cool. Okay, happy with that. Cool. Alright, first time I've ever done that. So let's stick the lid back onto the mash tun. Currently waiting for the HLT to come up to temperature so I can start recirculation. Okay, recirculating. Trying to get the mash temperature up to 69 degrees. Currently recirculating. The new pump's working nicely. You can see some action in the pipes there. And then gurgling coming out. Yeah, really pleased with the pump. Nice and shiny too, eh? Anyway, so recirculating. I'm going to do this for about another 40 minutes. And then I'm going to start sparging and get ready for mash out. Okay, we have 6 more minutes and it's going to be time to start mash out. Just want to say, absolutely loving the pump from Keg Kingdom. It's doing a sterling job. Pumping all my wort through, recirculating my wort. It's looking really good. It's, you know, grain bed looks like it's settled really nicely, so it's going to be in a perfect state, ready for sparging. And then get ready to do mash out. Get my wort into the brew kettle. Sparging. Got a nice steady flow this time. So actually, let's turn it off a little bit. It's a little bit too fast. Got a nice sparge, give it a trickle. Look at that. So it's looking good. I keep getting a stuck sparge, which is a bit stuck mash, whatever you want to call it, which is a bit frustrating. So the good thing about having this mash tun bag is that whenever it gets stuck, I just pull the mash tun bag up and it unblocks it, which is really cool. So sparging, keep on doing this until I get the desired amount of wort. Now I'm just going to stop this, unplug this. I think I've got a little bit too much sitting on the top. Just wait for this to start filling up nicely. Okay, still sparging. Go for 10 minutes now. We've got about coming up to 16 litres in the boil kettle. You can see I've recalibrated my boil kettle. I started doing some really badly done electro etching on the side. Haven't had time to do the numbers on it because it means cutting them out, but the point is coming. The top one's at 32. Next one would be down at 28, then 24, then 20, then 16. So you can see it's coming up to the 16 mark. So the lines are every 4 litres. But at least they're much more exact than they were before. So yeah, coming up to the 16 litres mark. Fixed the issue I had with the stuck mash. It's the fact that I was running off way too fast, which was causing suction on the grain bed. So I've managed to stop that. Just have to wait for the mash to go much slower. See, I've got a nice trickle sparge, layer of hot water sitting on the top of the grain bed. The pump is doing absolutely fucking amazing. So much better than that horrible 12-watt pump I had before. You know, it's really handling the slow flow that I'm able to do without me having to adjust anything. I thought I would need some sort of you know, something to adjust the voltage in order to control the flow, but doesn't seem to be the case. It seems to be doing a really good job. So hopefully, I don't know, another up to 16 litres now. So probably about another 10-15 minutes of sparging, and I'll be ready to start the boil. Okay, cool. So here we are with the final wort that's run off from the mash tun. If you can look closely, so the very top mark is 32, the second one will be 28, so we're talking about 27.5 litres going into the boil kettle. Okay, so this is, I've literally just turned the stove on, so this is what they would call first wort, yeah, so hasn't had a chance to boil yet. It's just what's come out of the mash tun into the kettle. So what I have got here is a 30-gram muslin bag full of 30 grams of Northern Brewer, okay, which is the Northern Brewer that I grew myself. I'll tell you something, I've just taken that out of the vacuum packed bag that I had put it in storage with. It's such a satisfying smell. There's nothing, well, there probably is, but it's really satisfying to open a bag of hops and to get that first sniff of the smell that you get from the hops, and you grew them yourself. So satisfying. Anyway, chucking this into the mash. I'm going to go find my spoon so I can stir that in. I've got a clue where it is, so I need to have a little hunt around for that. I've got a bit of cleaning up to do, so a bit of a mess over there. The floor's stained anyway, but yeah, there's a little bit of liquid on the floor. I've got to try and find my spoon, clean up all that crap over there, whilst this starts boiling. Okay, hot break's just kicked off. Look at that rolling boil. Really pleased with this. Oh, I love it. That is one hell of a boil I've got going on there. It's nice. So I'm going to keep this going. I'm aiming to get 21 litres out of this. So although it says an hour, again, I think I've overdone it with my sparging because I've got 28 litres now, which is more than I need. So my estimations is that I'm going to need to be about an hour and 20 for the boil. So anyway, like I did with the jet lacquer, I'm just going to wait half an hour, stick in the next hop addition, and then keep it boiling until I get to the 21 litre mark, which is where I want to be. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, when I take a gravity reading, I will hope to be on target. Fingers crossed. Focus! Okay, so 30 minutes into the boil, second hop addition, bomb bomb bomb, 30 grams of Northern Brewer, my own beautiful homegrown hops. Stop going up, but it looks like the boil's only gone down a couple of litres, so I'm going to chuck this in my stir stick, which is over the other side of the shed, which I'll get in a second. Yeah, so it looks like it's only gone down a couple of litres. I want it to go down at least another 5 litres, so I've probably got about another hour left in this boil. So I'll keep it boiling. Once I get to the end of the boil, or 15 minutes before the end of the boil, I will chuck in the lactose and we'll see where we are from there. But yeah, be back when we are at that point. Okay, we're down to like about 23 litre mark. Come on, steam, stop, calm down. So I'm gonna chuck in the lactose. I've got here 500 grams of lactose, so I'm just gonna chuck that in. Hooray! Yep, so I'm gonna chuck that in. There you go. I'm gonna give that a stir, which I've got my spoon handy, which is quite strange for me. Okay, there we go. So I decided I was going to do this 15 minutes before I finished the boil, so there we go. Let's calm the boil down a little bit because it's brought the temperature down suddenly. Leave that for 15 minutes and then we're going to take it from there. Okay. Right. Okay, so we are down to, probably can't see this because it's too fucking steamy, but we're down to like 23 litres left in the boil, as long as the recalibration of my brew kettle is correct. So hopefully that's 23 litres. So we've added the lactose, so we're all good. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the flame. There we go, flame off. Okay, so this is a flame out. So this is looking good. You can see steamy as fucking hell. Anyway, so what we're going to do now, flame out calls for us to add 1 kilo of mango. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to chuck in, this is an 850 gram tin, so I'm going to chuck in 850 grams of mango puree into the motherfucking wort. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I've got some more, I've got another 150 grams, so I'm going to chuck in as well, and I'm going to stir this in, and then I'm going to get a wort chiller out and start chilling this beast. So yeah, sorry, let me go on. As is always throughout this whole bloody video, my stirring spoon is over the other side of the bloody brew shed, so I'm going to go and get it in a second and stir this in, so I'll be back in a sec. It's chilling time! Okay, so we have the wort chiller. We currently have a temperature of, focus! Yeah, not going to happen. We have a temperature of 48 degrees, something like that. So I need to wait for it to come down. I've added the mango pulp, which you can see has given this an amazing, like, orange yellow colour. Loads of shit floating around that. Currently at, almost 24 litres, but that's probably because I've got the wort chiller in there. I've got hot bags in there, so this is going to drop right down once I pull all this stuff out. As it chills, the wort's going to contract a little bit, so I'm going to lose a little bit of volume just by the wort chilling. So I'm probably estimating about 22 litres, 21 litres maybe, which is exactly what I wanted. 22 litres, maybe if I leave a little bit of gunk behind in the bottom of the boil bucket. So just waiting for this to get down to, come on, focus. Waiting for it to get down to about 24 degrees Celsius. Then I'll be ready to pitch this motherfucker. Okay, because we've reached, yeah, we're waiting to get to, yeah, we're about 140 degrees Celsius. So whirlpool stage, I'm going to chuck in 30 grams, sorry I've had a few beers, so, and it smells absolutely amazing. This is Citra, my favourite hop. Oh, smells phenomenal. Anyway, so sticking in 30 grams of Citra, going in at the whirlpool stage. One thing I'm really looking forward to is I've got my two favourite hops, so Amarillo and Citra, going in at dry hop on this recipe. They are both amazing hops, yeah. So I can't wait for this to be ready. So 30 grams of Citra just going in at, now we've got to 40 degrees. So I'm going to leave this to chill for another 10 minutes while that steeps at this temperature. And hopefully we can get ready for the fermenter soon. Still chilling, down to 30 degrees. I'm going to get it down to 26, 25, 26, and I'm ready for pitching. Righty-o. Okay, so we are at 26 degrees. If you can see that, the focusing is absolutely shit tonight. Yeah, it doesn't want to focus at all. Okay, anyway, so 26 degrees. We have a beautiful looking wort, loads of crap floating around and out, which is just great because I know that's going to settle on the bottom and leave an amazingly clear beer. So that's good. I actually know that's going to look fucking awesome once it's ready to drink. So we have our fermenter down there. We have a sanitized hose coming from the boil kettle down to the fermenter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this, which is my rehydrated yeast, cross my loof, Californian ale yeast. Pretty sure it was. No, maybe I stand corrected. It was the American ale, yeah, which is, you know, it's rehydrated and it looks absolutely amazing, just like an hour in the flask. Anyway, so I'm gonna chuck that in. There we go. Now I've heard some good things about Cross My Loof, so this is the first time I've used them. So I've heard some really good things about them. Hopefully we should see some funky stuff going on. So I'm going to turn on now. Here we go. This is the Mango Lassi IPA, getting mixed in with the yeast. This is where all the fun happens. So we got this going down. I had it at about 23 litres, 22 litres. A bit of contraction when the when the water cooled down. Let's just see what happens. Obviously, let's get some aeration going on here. And I think the next time you'll see me is when I chuck this in the fermenter and I have a focus. And I have some real idea of how much volume I've actually got from this boil. So this will let me know whether I've actually managed to calibrate my fermentation kettle correctly. See you soon. Okay, don't know if you can see that. So that looks really bad out of focus, mainly because yeah, it's getting dark here, so it's kind of hard to focus. So we've managed to get looks like an OG of about 1065. which is slightly below the estimated gravity, estimated OG of 1071. So I'm going to have a slightly weaker beer than I was hoping for, but yeah, who gives a shit? As long as it tastes nice, that's the main thing. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Alright, so here we are in the fermenter, in the fermentation chamber. So I still need to stick a blow off tube in there. So this line is the 21 litre mark. I don't know if you can actually see, but it's probably very difficult to see actually, to be honest, but the brew is actually about this mark, so I've probably got about 22 litres, which is cool. 22 and a half maybe, which is nice. So it came out at 1.065 as an OG, which of course is lower than I was hoping, but it still gives me a beer that's about 7%, you know, which is quite strong for an IPA. But I think the thing here is I want flavour more than anything, so I think that mango pulp that I added is really going to help with that. So I'm going to go and get a blow off tube, stick that in the top, and leave this motherfucker to brew for 2 weeks. Over and out.